I have an important response, or I would say valuable response. And I'm not just saying that because it comes from me, but I think that this is one of these response videos that Matt Walsh from Daily Wire, as well as Michael Knowles and some of the other people that are on Daily Wire, should genuinely listen to and might be something constructive. So I am no longer a Daily Wire subscriber. I will no longer financially support Daily Wire. And it is honestly because of some of the divisive things and unfactual things that Matt Walsh and Michael Knowles have both been guilty of talking about in recent times. And this wasn't just his reactions to anti-Christmas TikToks. This has been going on for a few months, and I kind of just took it with a grain of salt. A couple of videos, I'm like, I just won't listen to those. But then they just continue to happen, and I'm like, why am I paying for this?
Christmas, which is Yule. It's the winter solstice.
Yeah, so I can't even keep watching that. That's a tough one. That's a tough one to listen to that. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if she was like a history professor at an Ivy League school. That wouldn't surprise me. By the way, she says that her take on this pisses people off. But see, lady, no, it doesn't. That's not the right word. It's the dumbest damn thing anyone's ever heard. You're saying very stupid things, and you're saying them very stupidly. So you've got both things going on here. You're saying dumb things. You're saying them as dumbly as possible. And so people aren't upset. It annoys them. And I think sometimes this is people can get confused about this. Is that they're not like offended or upset that you've made some brilliant point that they can't refute. It's just that you've really annoyed them. Much of the overlap between Christmas and ancient pagan festivals is invented by internet memes. That's what a lot of it comes from. But every single year, it's not even every year, it's multiple times a year when there's a big Christian holiday, namely Easter and Christmas, of course. You have these people on the internet who are very satisfied with them.
So none of that was necessary. And one thing that Matt Walsh and even Michael Knowles, they should take some tips from Ben Shapiro. I love Ben Shapiro. I love his content. I even don't have any qualms with the way he says, like, in my religion, in my religious view, this is how this is. This is what I think is right and wrong. I was like, but to each his will. I appreciate that. I think everybody should have their own perspective, for sure. And I think that other perspectives should be equally respected as long as it's not impacting you and your lives personally and your family and all that. So him just pissing all over things that are not his niche, it's and then another thing too, he completely disregards like religious studies, history in general. And I loved the What is a Woman documentary by Matt Walsh. That was my favorite. I love it. I actually became a Daily Wire member so I could see that. And I've always loved Ben Shapiro's content and all that. And I will no longer support them because why am I going to pay for stuff that's insulting me for no reason? There's a lot of overlap for some pagans that have conservative-leaning views. I know personally a lot of people who are of the pagan persuasion that are not of the Wicca persuasion that are conservative-leaning. And when they do this, they're just pissing on their own audience. And I'm not saying that you guys can't talk about this stuff. I'm not just saying that like you're going to lose all your potential, non-Christian audience if you do stuff like this. I think that you guys should approach this a little bit better. Or at the very least, if he's going to make fun of him, fine. But don't sit there and pretend like you just, wash out all of the historical significance of pagan stuff. And then even he posted this on December 27th today. It's not even Christmas anymore. So he says in the beginning of this video, in the spirit of Christmas, we're going to now piss on other people who celebrate Yule, which Yule goes from December 20th to the new year, December 31st into the first of the year. That's where the 12 days of Yule comes from, and that's where Christmas technically ripped off the 12 days of Christmas. But I digress. My whole takeaway from this, that I'm hoping that if Matt Walsh or Michael Knowles watches this, is that I really like your matter-of-fact content. I really appreciate your transparency, but the belittling people, especially the things you don't understand, I would prefer Matt Walsh and Matt Walsh and Michael Knowles to acknowledge that they're not very knowledgeable about these things instead of making assumptions from their Christian lens perspective. That's just what I have to say. And I just really think that we should be finding ways to unite together as opposed to doing what the left does and being divisive with some of your audience that overlaps with similar views to you, but does not share the same exact values as you. And rant.